Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of imbalance. Alright, so in this video we'll be diving into the actual charts, where I'll be showing you what an imbalance looks like and how price returns to those areas, right? So price returns to those areas to balance price out. I'll be showing you guys on the charts. We'll be hopping onto gold. I'll also be tying it with structure. So when you take imbalances and structure and put it together, you guys have more confidence in building your narrative. All right. So let's dive into the charts. All right, so we will start on the weekly time frame. As you can see, price printed this higher low and then impulsively moved to the upside, right? So when it impulsively moved to the upside, well, this candle in particular, if you look at that candle right there, right, it was an impulsive candle. There was actually no imbalance there, okay? So you can see the price, the candle moved impulsively, right? There was an impulsive bullish candle right here. The next candle actually pulls back and balances that price out. Okay, you can see that the top of this candle and the bottom of this candle meet. Okay, so price came and balanced that price out. Okay, so there was no imbalance here. And then the market moves to the upside again, breaking this structure right here, right? So the market breaks the structure and then creates or prints this higher high. This one right here. Okay, so prints this higher high, and while it was printing that higher high, the market left a bunch of imbalances, okay? So number one was right here. This was imbalance number one, and you can see that right after creating this imbalance, price immediately pulled back, right, tapping into this imbalance, filling it up partially, okay? So the market filled that imbalance partially and then moved away. So you can expect price coming lower and filling this up at some point. All right, also looking over here, the market also created this imbalance where price filled this entire thing. Obviously, price was delivering lower prices over here, right? As you can see, started building its own structure, moving down, BOS, pulled back, another break of structure, right? And then pulled back, and then another break of structure, and yeah, all the way until these areas, okay? So price actually came to fill this imbalance first, this one right here, and then moved away, okay? So if you look at it over here, or right, if you look at this area right here on the 4-hour time frame, for example, let me just erase these. So on the 4-hour time frame, actually let me go back on the weekly. Okay, let me just delete these. So on the daily, you can see that while price was creating lower lows and lower highs, right? So you want to be taking structure and aligning it with your imbalances, okay? So price was delivering lower prices, breaking structure each time, right? Creating lower highs, then lower lows, okay? Well, lower highs, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, okay? And then you'll see that the market pulled back, filling this imbalance, right? And then moving away, okay? Also did the same thing over here. There was an imbalance right here. In the beginning, it filled that up partially, right? Didn't fill it up all the way. Moved a little bit lower, and then filled up the entire thing, and then price moved lower, okay? Creating this lower high, and then later printing this lower low, pulling back, filling this imbalance right here to then move price lower, okay? And ultimately coming for this imbalance on the weekly time frame. You will actually see that the market pulled back to fill this imbalance right here, right? This tiny imbalance right here. Obviously, there's a reason why the market from here pulled back to this area before it came and filled this imbalance, right? You guys will learn that later on once we get into liquidity, which will be in the MGM section, right? I didn't feel the need to include liquidity into SMC because, quite frankly, I think, well, to be honest, because the MJM section is basically all about liquidity and everything, I wanted to leave all of that for that, you know? So I wanted to leave liquidity for that section. All right, so anyways, on the weekly, you'll see that price finally comes back and fills this entire imbalance on the weekly. And then on the 4 hour, you can see that the market actually, well, after filling this imbalance right here, right, the market moves to the upside, breaking this structure right here, right? So actually, let me mark it out. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and lower low. Okay? So what happens? The market breaks this structure right here. And after breaking the structure, you'll see that the market actually pulls back and comes into the extreme to fill this imbalance, okay? So this imbalance right here gets filled completely, and then without breaking this low, right, respecting this right here, because this is the lower low, and then which led to the break of structure, printing this higher high, so potentially pulling back, creating a higher low, and then breaking structure again, right? As you can see, price came, filled this imbalance right here, impulsively moved to the upside, right? So after it impulsively moved to the upside right here, you can see that the market actually came back to fill these imbalances, okay? So the market pulled back, filled these imbalances, right? This one right here too. And then later moving to the upside. And then you can see over here too, price pulls back, taps into this imbalance, and then moves away. So that's how you basically take structure and imbalance and tie it together, okay, to build your narrative. So this is the end of this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.